Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our ISKCON Bulla official YouTube channel. Today I am going to discuss 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, in which there is description of scores of Mother Parvati. So, Chitraketu, this chapter describes Chitraketu's receiving the body of an asura or demon because of joking with Lord Shiva. How costly it is, you see, by joking. Lord Shiva, Vaishnavana Gata Sambha. So 1 to 8, these 8 verses describe how Chitraketu laughed at Shiva, Lord Shiva. After personally talking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, King Chitraketu enjoyed life in his airplane with the women of the Vidyadhara planet. Engaging in the congregational chanting of the glories of the Lord, he began flying his plane and traveling in outer space. And while traveling like this, he wandered into the bowers of Sumeru mountain, Sumeru, Golden Mountain, where he came upon Lord Shiva embracing Parvati, surrounded by an assembly of Siddhas, Charanas and great sages. So actually this Sumeru mountain is in the Ilavratavarsa, and Ilavratavarsa, the Lord Shiva resides there, and he worships Sankarsana. That is, we have already described it in 5th canto. So they are seeing Lord Shiva in that situation, that Sumer mountain, he came upon Lord Shiva embracing Parvati and surrounded by an assembly of Siddhas, Charanas and great sages. So seeing Lord Shiva in that situation, Chitraketu laughed very loud. You see, laughed very loud. Such a elevated devotee, but he laughed. So it is described in verse 6 that Chitraketu says, Esha loka guru sakshat dharmam bhakta sharirinam aste mukhya sabhayangai mituni bhuya vahariya. Of course, this is very intricacies are there, very intricacies are there, but we cannot explain it in short time. Anyway, Chitraketu said, Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of the general populace, is the best of all living entities who had accepted material bodies. He enunciates the system of religion, yet how wonderful it is that he is embracing his wife Parvati in the midst of an assembly of great saintly persons. Srivastava Swami in his purport says, Sharirina Madhye Mukhyascha, is the top among all the living entities. Sharirina Madhye Mukhyascha. So 9 to 15, these 7 verses describe Lord Parvati Devi caused Chitraketu. In verse 15 it said, Atha papyasim jonim asurim jahim durmate jateha bhuyo mahatmam matam na karta putro kirvisam. O impudent one, my dear son, now take birth in a low, sinful family of demons, so that you will not commit such an offense again toward exalted, saintly persons in this world. So Prabhupada Maharaj is given a long purport, but I am describing in short, because it is very most intricate thing. Anyway, Prabhupada Maharaj says, this punishment was a boon to Chitraketu because after taking birth as the demon, Vritrasura, he was promoted directly to Vaikuntha. So, in this way, because of this cause, Chitraketu later appeared as the demon Vritrasura. But Chitraketu, however, not at all afraid, was not at all afraid of Parvati's curse, and thus he spoke as follows. He was not afraid. This is what is called Khanti. Khanti. He could tolerate everything. In verse 16 it is stated that everyone in human society enjoys happiness and distress according to his past deeds, and in this way travels in this material world. He was not at all apprehensive, not at all afraid. So in verse 18 it is stated, Sansar Chakra etasmin jantu ajnana mohitah brahmyan sukham cha dukham cha bhukte sarvatra sarvada. Deluded by ignorance, the living entity wanders in this forest of this material world, enjoying the happiness and distress resulting from his past deeds everywhere and at all times. Therefore, my dear mother, neither you nor I am to be blamed for this incident. Sivasudha Swami in his purport said, Ayam cha sansar chakra svabhava eva na chitra. This is the nature of sansar chakra, the wheel of the sansar, wheel of the material world. And there is no wonder in it, na chitra. Therefore, no one is responsible for his happiness and distress. One is controlled by the influence of material nature in the material world, yet one thinks himself the doer of everything. In this material world, which is made of the external energy of the Supreme Lord, one is sometimes cursed and sometimes favored, and thus he sometimes enjoys in the upper planetary systems and sometimes suffers in the lower planetary systems. But all these situations are the same because they are within this material world. None of these positions has any factual existence, for all of them are temporary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate controller because the material world is created, maintained and annihilated under his control, while he nonetheless remains neutral to these different transformations of the material world in time and space. In verse 22, it is stated, न तस्य कस्य दैतः प्रतिपो न ज्ञाति बन्धो न परो न च स्वः न स्वः न च स्वः संशय सर्वत्र निरञ्जनस्य समस्य सर्वत्र निरञ्जनस्य सुखेन रागः कुत एव रोषः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is equally disposed toward all living entities. Therefore, no one is very dear to him and no one is a great enemy for him. No one is his friend and no one is his relative. Being unattached to the material world, he has no affection for the so-called happiness or hatred or so-called distress. The two terms happiness and distress are relative. Since the Lord is always happy, for him there is no question of distress. So, the material external energy of the Supreme Personality of God is in charge of this material world. The Lord helps the world by creating situations for the living entities within it. When Chitraketu spoke in this way, all the members in the great assembly in which Lord Shiva and Parvati were present were astonished. So, in 25 to 38, Shivaji told to Parvati. Lord Shiva began speaking about the devotees of the Lord, how great are the devotees. In verse 28, it is stated that Narayan para sarve na kutasthana vibhyati swarga bhavarga narke swapi tulyarda darsana. Devotee is neutral in all conditions of life, whether in the heavenly planets or hellish planets, whether liberated from the material world or conditioned by it, and whether blessed with happiness or subjected to distress. These are all merely dualities created by the external energy. Being influenced by the external energy, the living entity accepts a gross and subtle material body, and in this illusory position, he apparently suffers miseries, although everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So in the purport, Sripad Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Nanu एवं महात्मत्वे भक्तानाम को हेतु. The devotees are so great. How is it possible? The so-called demigods consider themselves independent lords, and in this way they are misled from understanding that all living entities are part of the Supreme. So in this way, this chapter concludes by glorifying the devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what is the Falashruti? It is described in 3 verses, 39 to 41. In 41, verse 41, it is stated by Sukadeva, one who rises from bed early in the morning and recites this history of Chitraketu, controlling his words and mind and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will return home back to Godhead without difficulty. So in this way, thank you very much for listening to this lecture, and please don't forget to subscribe, share and like our channel, and God bless you.